Howdy goons, I used to be a games journalist, but before you click off, I got better. I quit. That's why I said I used to be one. But as a reviewer of any sort, there's a common problem I encounter, and there isn't a real solution no matter what you do. The question that needs answer is how much time are you supposed to spend playing a game before you review it? How long do I need to play something before my opinion is considered valid? Is time just total BS, and it's actually more important that I agree with the majority? Could you tell I didn't play the required amount of hours if I neglected to tell you how long I actually played for? There isn't really a right answer, but I thought I'd address both. Before I start, comment below how long you think I need to play a game for in order for my review to be considered valid. Then watch this video and edit your comment if that number changed after this, but don't change the original number, just add your new number on top of that. So, one time when I was playing the game Hunt Showdown, I was having some issues. I couldn't remember exactly what it was, but another gamer with a capital G said my opinion didn't matter because I didn't play it as much as he did. I had 130 hours in the game, which is quite a bit of time, more than most people would spend in most games. That's enough time to beat most other games 10 times over. My suggestion was likely something to make the game more approachable and digestible for the common populace so that the game would have more players and last longer. I mean, it's lasting fine on its own, but more players is good. Hardcore games tend to attract a smaller player base, and while dedicated players are great at keeping a game alive, eventually they all leave for something else. But it's bad long-term for companies because they make less money. The more skill-based a game is, the less likely you are to spend money on it. Well, it's different for Hunt though, because it's like a one-time purchase, but in the mobile world at least. It's why we can never have a truly skill-based mobile game. People wouldn't buy stuff because it'd be easier for them to earn it, which blows, of course. I would love if hardcore games could stay hardcore and still be able to make money for a very long time. Not everything is for everyone, and that's perfectly okay. That's the point of a review too, it's to express my opinion on the game and it potentially not being for me, and that's fine. But I'm allowed to voice that opinion. Hardcore, entirely skill-based games make less money long-term. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. But would me playing the game more actually validate my opinion of the game? If I actually played for 2,000 hours like that person did, would that make my critique better? I don't think so. I think it might make it worse. And I think that dude just didn't like that I disagreed with him and needed to lord some arbitrary statistic over me. I think there is such thing as playing a game too much, and that can make your critique suffer. See, the difference between me and this one guy is that he has limited knowledge. I'm not saying he's dumb, far from it. I don't really think many people are actually stupid. I'm saying that he's actually very intelligent. He likely knows a ton about this specific game that I don't know as much about, and will likely never know as much about. He knows minor things that I will just never register. He might be a total god at this game, but I think that makes him less fit as a reviewer because he has less knowledge outside of this game. 2K hours? This is probably the main or only thing he plays. If you played 4 hours a day, every day, of Hunt Showdown, which is excessive for some people, but who knows, he might be playing 8 hours a day. But if you played just 4 hours a day, it would take you 500 days to do that. That's a year and a half of gameplay. That's a lot of time spent in one game that isn't being spent in other games. So I'm saying I've probably played more games in and out of this genre in the time that Hunt has been out than he has. He has a lot of Hunt Showdown specific knowledge, but that limits his scope. It limits what he can see. Because I played this less, I've had more time to spend playing other games in the same genre. My scope of knowledge is much wider. I know what's going on in these other games that he probably doesn't. That's my problem. That's the conundrum. Do I play the game an ungodly amount? I'm talking in the thousands of hours to become a tower of knowledge, or do I play more stuff and have more wider knowledge about the genre as a whole? I can tell you what makes other shooters more fun and more appealing and makes them better at drawing in new players. That guy can only tell you what he knows about Hunt itself. Which information is more important in a review? How it compares to others in the genre, or the game by itself in a bubble? Because if we rate a game based on itself within this bubble, it's going to have a naturally higher score because it's not being compared to others. Hunt doesn't exist in a bubble, does it? It's not the only game people have a choice in playing. If this game has a problem with onboarding new players, then how is continuing to do the same thing helping? Clearly something needs to change, and someone who only plays Hunt likely wouldn't know what that change needs to be. They haven't played anything else. They don't know where Hunt is lacking. This is just one example. Is it really practical to expect a reviewer to spend 100 hours or more in every every single game that they review. Another person I saw was a drama channel. That's probably the best way to describe what they do. They go looking for channels who leave a negative review about something they like, then they make an 8-minute and 1-second exactly long video so they can get mid-rolls complaining about the mean person who didn't like their specific game of interest. This one was about Doom Eternal. I personally like Doom Eternal, but I can see why some might not. The reviewer in question said they didn't like it, but they played the game all the way through. It takes about 14 hours to beat Doom Eternal. They gave it a genuine and fair shot. That's a lot longer than I'd play a game that I don't like, except Sunseed Island, I guess. I probably didn't need to beat that one. The person making a video about it was basically nitpicking every little thing that he said, then said, "You only beat it once? This is why I hate reviewers. They get a game early and rush to beat it before it launches so that they can be the first to get a review out," which is just such a funny comment to me. Sure, as someone who has first-hand experience with this sort of thing, I do know people in the games industry who rush to get a review out, and I do think this review mill environment can lead to people hating a game. But these people are also reviewing a lot more games than you've ever played. And if this is a professional reviewer, I don't know, I didn't see the original review, but if this was a professional reviewer, it could be that they just don't really like shooters in the first place. People like to think that at these news outlets and review outlets and stuff like that, that people get the game that they're specialized in, that you have your shooter guy, that you have your platformer guy, that you have your retro guy. That's not how it works. It's often first come, first serve. It's often throwing keys in the chat and whoever redeems it first is the one who gets it. It's not a good way to handle things, but it's faster for the people higher up. So while Doom Eternal might seem quite novel to you, it could be this person's first shooter, or it could be this person's billionth shooter, and they're just so tired of them. Sorry, but playing 100 games in the same genre would make anyone start to get tired of it. I used to play nothing but JRPGs since I was like 8 years old, and now I look at them and groan about, do they really need to all be 100 plus hours long? Same thing with Vampire Survivors-like games. I liked the first 30 that I played. Now I audibly groan whenever I see a new one on Steam. Doom Eternal is pretty standout from most shooters, I'd say, but that's an example of how a review mill can alter a review. The funny part of the statement was really, you only beat it once? Like, how many times does a person need to beat a game before their opinion is considered valid? I do definitely agree that major review outlets definitely have a rushing problem. The rest of us reviewers probably have a job outside of this. Personally, I run 3 channels at once. So I don't know why beating it once is such an absurd thing. Like, this dude wasn't an industry reviewer or a journalist. He had a job, I assume. And even if he was an industry reviewer, he had other things to write besides this review. So he should definitely be understanding in that people have more to do than just play Doom Eternal all day. Doom has a lot of replayability, but I don't think anyone would play a game they dislike 5 times just to have a justifiable opinion. Honestly, playing it all the way through once while you didn't like it is pretty good. How is beating the game not enough? I think people get their sense of identity too wrapped up in what they play. Like, they think that if you think their game sucks, that they must suck, or that they don't know what a good game is. Everyone is so fragile about stuff when it comes to their tastes. Some of my favorite games are hot garbage, like Sonic Adventure 2, pure trash. It's weird too, because these are the same kind of people that would tell you, when playing their game, to suck it up, or get good, or stop being a snowflake, then have a fit when you don't like their favorite game. I think reviews are taken too seriously. The point of them is that person providing their experience and personal opinion on that given game. You can like something, you're allowed to, just like they're allowed to hate it, but you can't let that stand, can you? They don't like your game, so they must be saying you have bad taste. It just wasn't for them. You're the one making it personal. My next example is when I made a review about Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest. This is a game that was pretty universally hated until just recently. A lot of YouTubers have been posting videos about how it's not as bad as we thought. AVGN makes a video about how it's a pile of doo-doo farts to get rage views. Then some guy makes a video about how it's really good just to piss off the people who already decided that they think it's bad. Some reviewers do just want to be contrarians to make it seem like they have a more refined opinion. You not liking the things everybody else likes doesn't mean you have a refined opinion, but you liking the thing that everybody else hates also doesn't mean you have a refined opinion. It means you have an opinion. Then you have fans who only get their opinions from YouTubers, people who need an influencer to think. People who only form their opinions based off of what YouTubers and influencers have to say give me really big, let me ask ChatGPT kind of energy. So I played Simon's Quest out of curiosity. There's people saying it's good, people saying it's bad. I wanted to try it myself and give it my opinion. So I reviewed it. I didn't fully beat the game, and some people took a big issue with that. But do I really need to beat the game to have an opinion on it? My review wasn't based on the final boss. It wasn't a review solely about the ending. Simon's Quest was just too ambitious for its time, and that resulted in a mess of a game. It's about how you spin it. People who love it spin it as being ahead of its time. And it is. People who hate it spin it as being bad game design. And it has bad game design. It's good and bad at the same time. That can be a thing. There is good and bad in Simon's Quest, and I addressed both. But because I didn't beat the game, my opinion wasn't valid. So what if I did beat it? Would they say I only beat it once, like the Doom guy, then demand I play it more? What is the correct level of playing a game that a review is considered valid? How much do I need to play something in order for everyone to be satisfied that I gave it a fair shot? As someone who has played more games than most people will ever have the time to, I don't think I owe you a number. I don't think I owe anyone a set time to form my opinion. If you don't like my opinion, play the damn game yourself and review it yourself. The internet, you're already using it to comment. You can post a video for free. DaVinci Resolve is free. You can learn it for free. You can record with OBS for free. Probably already have the game since you're defending it so hardcore. Play it and review it yourself, bitch. I don't need to beat Simon's Quest to know I don't like it, and yet I still gave it a chance. I don't need to be shot by a gun to know I wouldn't like it. I didn't think I'd like it. I played it, and I still didn't like it. There's no point where playing this just clicks, and suddenly it's an amazing game for me. It's not for me. That's it. Then that brings me to... it gets good if you get to 100 hours. This one is interesting because I've definitely experienced this opinion before in my own experience. When I played Warframe in Diablo 3, I can definitely say that I didn't like the early game, but I pushed through and made it to the 100-hour mark. At this point, I reached the end game, usually, and had a lot of fun. But these are also games that I thought were mechanically solid in the beginning. Warframe sucked in the beginning because of the exploitative monetization and how difficult getting stuff can be in the beginning. The game doesn't really let you explore all of your possibilities without several dozen hours or several swipes of your credit card. But once you get to the point that you can earn platinum, the paid currency, it's fun. But that could be said when swiping your credit card too. The fun part of the game is when you get to the point that you're earning currency, because the currency locks so much behind it. It's either currency or massive amounts of playtime. I still like Warframe, but there's a reason why I can't play it anymore, because I can't be trusted with a credit card. With Diablo 3, the game is mechanically fine, but the story wasn't interesting to me, so it was a bit of a slog. I knew that the game was interesting at 100 hours, I kept going, and I got there. But if the story was boring and playing the campaign wasn't the fun part, then why should I have to play it at all? Nowadays you can skip to the campaign and go straight to adventure mode, where you can play the Nephilim rifts nearly immediately. That's the fun part, running the randomized dungeons and seeing how fast you can clear them. It's enjoyable because Diablo 3 is mechanically sound, but playing through the campaign was just an unneeded middleman between me and my fun. So to these, a reviewer would probably say, I'm sure it is fun after you played it that long, but why couldn't it have been that fun from the beginning? And I agree with that statement, and Diablo 3 did fix it eventually. If you don't care about the story, you should be allowed to skip it, just for the mode that has nothing but gameplay. And to people who are looking to get into Warframe or Diablo, if it's still true that you have to play the game for like 100 hours before you can properly enjoy it, I would say don't play it. I would say go play something else. You can beat 10 other games in that time. There are tons of MMOs like this too, where they don't get to be fun until the end. I really enjoyed Final Fantasy XIV, but I didn't enjoy playing through 100 hours of story stuff just to get to the same town as my friend. But I also believe you might have biases in these cases too. Sometimes you're just trying to justify the time you spent in them. It's called the sunk cost fallacy. You spent so much time and money on this thing that saying it sucks would mean that you wasted your time and money on that. I can understand why it'd be hard to admit something like that, but I waste all sorts of time and money on things that suck. It happens. You can't really do anything about it. There are always people trying to get as much money and time from you as possible without giving you anything in return, and you need to accept that and learn how to identify it and avoid it, because the people aren't going to change. They're not going to just stop scamming you. A game sucking has nothing to do with you. It has to do with the company that made it. These games are not your identity. You're a person, and you have way more interesting stuff about you than just what games you play. Me talking negatively about a game has nothing to do with you as a person. The casual review is something we see less and less of every day, and it's something I've been growing to miss. Every review is treated so seriously now. We can't have fun with anything anymore. We either have to have a very negative opinion about something or have a very positive opinion about something. You can't have a middling point. Like when Stephanie Sterling gave Breath of the Wild a 7 out of 10, people lost their minds. 7 is still a good game. I wouldn't call Stephanie a casual reviewer though, I'm just saying people only want to hear about 8 to 10 if it's for a good game, and anything else is bad. No one is willing to gamble on something mediocre. I've played 6s that I would still say are good games. But I get it, you have limited time and you have limited money, so you can't risk wasting time on something that sucks. But you are going to miss out on stuff because you are only focusing on the highest rated stuff. There are poorly scored games that the reviewer thinks sucks, but might be perfect for you. Like Amazing Island reeks, but I love it, and many people would say it sucks. Everyone in this house hates it but me. As for the casual review, I mean something like Hot Pepper Gaming. This was a review channel back in the long ago, a whole decade ago. It was a group of people who would eat a spicy pepper, then review the game. I want more of this. People just yapping and being real. Everyone hates game journalism, so why are you all trying so hard to review games the same way they do? I've been thinking about doing something like Hot Pepper Gaming, and I started it on my other channel at New Hotness Gaming. You can check that out if you want. I'll put one of the videos on the end card, but I think people would like something like that to have a comeback. Anyway, people want scripted reviews that cover every aspect of the game. That's why channels like Modular do so well, where he covers like an entire game with a 2-hour-long video. And people also always want their favorite game to get a 10. It doesn't matter how long I play your game. If I don't agree with you, then you'll make up some other arbitrary thing to give me crap about. I am very honest about my reviews. I don't watch other people's reviews before I give my own, because I want my opinion to be my own. I've never intentionally spun a game as negative for the sake of clicks. It'd be really easy to do though. I could very easily spin your favorite games into being terrible, but I don't need to. I just give my honest opinion. But in the end, how long I play doesn't actually matter. You disagree with me, and you're coming up with justifications for that reasoning after the fact. If I didn't like it and beat it, then you'd say I need to beat it more times. If I beat it 5 times, you'd say I need to play it for 1,000 hours. If I did that, you'd say 2K. If I did that, you'd be like, oh wow, the furry has bad opinions, shocker. It's not about my playtime. Time has nothing to do with quality. A game can be 100 hours long and still suck ass. And I can play a game for 1,000 hours and still hate it. Like Destiny 1. Oh man, I hated Destiny 1. Really wish I didn't buy all that DLC just so I could hang out with my friends. You don't care about how long I play. You're just struggling with the idea that your favorite game isn't the perfect game that's only for people with good perfect taste. Bye.